everybody. Welcome. Welcome to MT Guitar. Would love to play some music for you today on the Kora and guitar. I didn't have time to do Pink Floyd Friday today because I do have a gig tonight. Hello, Mila. Greetings. So yeah, all I had time for today was really to set up my my Kora, tune it up a little bit, and it got me thinking, gosh, I should really play a little set for you guys here on the Kora and then on the guitar as well. So hopefully that's of interest to you. Why don't I jump right in? This is an original that's soon to be recorded called Explosions in Space. Somewhere in some distant sun, it's making all the things you are, till it all blows apart. Crashing in, then begins making all the shooting stars when it all blows apart. But nobody knows just where you are, constantly in motion. Explosions in space. The light in your eyes, they make clear blue skies. They create you and I. Making all the things we are when it all blows apart. We come crashing in, then begin making all the shooting stars burning off somewhere far. But nobody knows just who you are, like particles in an ocean. Explosions in space create the light in your eyes. They make clear blue skies. They create you and I. Making all the things we are till it all blows apart. We come crashing in, then begin stars burning up somewhere far. But nobody knows just who you are, like particles in an ocean. Explosions in space create the light in your eyes. They make clear blue skies. They create you and I. Hi Vedant. Hey Drew. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for being here and for being supporters of what we're doing on MT Guitar. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me all right. It's always a little tricky with the Kora. Got the speaker over there, the mic over here. So if it sounds good, we're all good. If not, I can make adjustments. I'm going to play a little bit on the Kora and then I'll switch to guitar. Let's do a little bit of... Oh, good. Thanks, Drew. Let's do a little bit of... We could do that. We could do that. We could do some Beatles. Kind of fun to try this. I haven't played this too many times on Kora or guitar, although I do have a lesson on this. But let's do a Beatles. I Want to Hold Your Hand. So just to give you a little bit of background here, this is the Kora. It's a 21-string West African harp lute. Let me turn down the volume because it's going to start feeding back here. And yeah, I went to the Gambia, which is the smallest country in Africa, to study this instrument specifically. When I was 19, went by myself, lived with a teacher in a small village, and it was a life-changing experience. This is when I basically was obsessed with any instrument with strings on it. So guitar has always been my number one since the age of 16, but I also play banjo, mandolin, cello, bass, etc. So I heard this instrument with 21 strings and I thought, wow, this is, and I'm a huge fan of world music. So I thought, yeah, I have to go. My dad said, no way, are you crazy? And I said, well, no, I really want to do this. And so I researched how to do it. I talked to people who went and studied with this particular teacher, Dembo Jubarte, and got my malaria shots, etc. And finally convinced him that it was going to be okay. And it was a life-changing experience. And about 10 years after I got back, I realized that I could start to write songs on it in a meaningful way instead of just sort of improvising on it. I learned quite a bit of traditional stuff there. I am in a slightly altered tuning, so I can't do a ton of traditional, but why don't I do a little bit? Right? Yeah, having some feedback issues here. There we go. So here's the first song I learned. And several others. So let's see here. Let's play some Beatles because, like I said, I realized that I could write songs on it and also cover pop and rock songs. because as I learned more about the instrument and also just about how music works, I realized, oh, you know, this instrument can do quite well with chord progressions, Western chord progressions, which is not the typical thing to do with it, but it's kind of fun to venture out. It is resonant, light, and deep all at once. Absolutely, Drew. Good description there. Yeah, it's got such a bright and deep sound, and you know, somewhat mystical. I think, if that can be described in terms of sound. But all right, let's try this. Oh yeah, tell you something. I think you'll understand when I say that something. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. Oh, please say to me, I think you'll understand. Oh, please say to me, let me hold your hand. You'll let me hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love I can't hide. I can't hide. I can't hide. Let me hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. Whew. That bridge, I'm not sure if that bridge works on the Kora. And when I touch you, I think that's when Paul McCartney said in an interview that it was either that one or another one where that was the first song where they started using a minor 5 chord, which I don't think they thought of it as a minor 5 chord, but they went to a minor chord, which is supposed to be major, which is the 5 chord, and they modulated to the 4, which is something that they knew so many covers, 300 or 400 by the time they wrote their hits, that they didn't need to have the labels and the theory to go with it. They just knew all the tricks, which is something I recommend doing. Learn as many songs as you can, like the Beatles did, if you want to be a great musician or songwriter. Smiling and clapping. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it. All right. Well. Let's do. I could do that, yeah. Let's do. Let's do some Pink Floyd. Wish You Were Here. This is the first lesson on MT guitar. It's also the first song I learned on guitar. And the first cover I played on the Kora where I realized this could work. Sorry. Hard to talk and play Kora at the same time. So you think you can tell heaven from hell and blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, or a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. How we found the same old fears. Wish you were here. Hey, Julia. Thank you so much. I always clap at restaurants for players. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Julia. Yeah, Drew's making a funny point here. I play at restaurants. Actually, I'm playing at one tonight. And most people don't clap, which is fine, because you're considered background music. But Drew is saying, I always clap for the background musicians, which, hey, I won't argue with that. That's awesome. I generally like to as well. People give me a weird look, but hey, musicians, you know, they're working hard, right? So let's do one or two more on the Kora, maybe just one more probably. You know what would be fun would be to do some traveling wheelberries on this. Again, this is the Kora. It's a West African harp lute. And feel free to say hello. Let me know what you're working on. You can always ask questions, even though this isn't technically a lesson. I'm happy to, you know, to make it a lesson or a mini lesson if people have a real question they want to ask. Let me know what video you're working on of mine. It's always fun for me to hear that. Consider checking out the Patreon. See if it'll work for you. We've been building up that platform and it's been great. Got about 80 tabs up there. Mostly songs, also some music theory, some chord melodies, some exercises. I know Julia is a patron and possibly others on here. So thank you to all the patrons. It means a lot and it makes it so I can focus on the channel more. Who have you guys been listening to lately? Any artists to check out? I'll tell you somebody I've been just really digging this week is Molly Tuttle. Man, you guys know Molly Tuttle? Bluegrass player from Northern California, where I'm from. But she's in Nashville now. But I'm kind of in a bluegrass phase. I have been for about a year, listening to a lot of Chris Thile and the Punch Brothers. Aoife O'Donovan, people like that, and as well as who else? Just a lot of Chris Thile, I guess, mainly, but just loving the bluegrass stuff. Tony Rice, after he passed, I was listening a lot to him. Man, what an amazing player he was. Of course, Nickel Creek. So stuff like that. But anyway, I'm listening to Molly Tuttle this week. It's been pretty awesome. And I've been checking out others, which I can't remember right now, which is typical of me to forget in the moment. But let's do. Traveling Wilburys. Okay. I'm warning you, I haven't tried this in a long time, possibly over a year. Well, it's all. Oh boy, I don't even know where. Hold on. It's a totally different key from the guitar. Well, it's alright, riding around in the breeze. Well, it's alright if you live the life you please. Well, it's alright, doing the best that you can. Yeah, it's alright, as long as you lend a hand. Maybe somewhere down the road away, at the end of the line, they'll think of me. I'm sorry. At the end of the line, maybe someday when somebody plays at the end of the line, Purple Haze. Well, it's alright, even if you say you're wrong. Well, it's alright, sometimes you gotta be strong. Well, it's alright, there's somewhere to lay. Well, it's alright, every day is Judgment Day. Always a little bit of an adrenaline rush when you haven't worked something up to a performance level. Luckily, it's not a massive channel, so I'm just kidding. I want to play my best, even if it's just 10 people. Eric says, oh yeah, Drew says Molly is great, yeah. Eric says, hi, found you through The Way It Is. Oh yeah, Bruce Hornsby. Love your style. Yeah. Thank you, Eric. Well, I appreciate that. It is very advanced. It's one of the more advanced lessons. I did a lesson on Bruce Hornsby, The Way It Is. Man, that was brutal in a very fun way. I love challenges, but it's quite advanced. So, Eric, no sweat, man. Give it some time. Bruce Hornsby is one of those pianists who's just a killer player. He can play bluegrass, jazz, whatever, right? So why don't we switch gears? Although it's so fun to play Kora, I could play it all day. Sorry for this noise. And I really am a little rusty on the chorus. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share it with you all. Let me get this in here first before we continue talking. Behave. There we go. When I came back from Africa, I promised myself that I would try to share the Kora as much as I could, because it's such a gem, and it kind of taught me that, you know, there's magic and music and culture everywhere, because in this one little pocket of the world, in this small country of Africa, there are these amazing musicians, amazing people, so friendly, some of the friendliest people I ever met, some of the most beautiful music I've heard, right? With such rhythmic complexity, and so it made me realize that, hey, you know, everywhere you look in life and in the world, there is something to be grateful for, something to learn from, something to dive into. And, you know, if you're like me, you really take world music seriously, because in every culture there is a deep tradition of music that we can learn from. And so the other culture that I've really dived deeply into is southern Spain flamenco music. And again, I'm totally blown away by the depth and beauty of that tradition. And for whatever reason, it's not really appreciated. It's appreciated, but it's not really understood by guitarists how beautiful and deep flamenco is. Flamenco is like guitar heaven. I'm not going to do it right now, because I'm not going to repeat the mistake of being unprepared right now, and I would need to get out my flamenco guitar. But I will soon do some more flamenco. I do have an introduction to flamenco on the channel. You can look that up, and I also have some Kora videos on the channel. They're a little more polished, and they're not live streams, and they're edited, and, you know, I prepared exactly what I was going to do. So check those out if that's of interest to you. All right, Nathan says nice Sweden t-shirt. Thank you. Yeah, this is a Sverige, which is Swedish for Sweden. And I went to Sweden with my father, who lived there for a year, and we went to Uppsala, where he studied for a year. And boy, I love Sweden, really do, just gorgeous. I haven't been back there for 15 years, 16 years, but let me tune up and let's play some more music. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you as always. Whoops. All right. How are you doing? Jonathan, I haven't forgotten your Patreon request. Dude, I totally miss you, right? From Tenacious D. So, it's coming. All right. Well. So much I could do. That's a little too much reverb. There we go. And I'm going to be. Let's play this like a little bit of jazz, if that's cool with everybody. Actually, I changed my mind. Let's start with. Oh no, where are my capos? That's the problem. My capos are always floating around the house. That's why I've got a few of them. Kaiser's not my favorite. I hope there's no Kaiser employees watching, but I prefer either Shub or the Shub is good, and then there's one I'm forgetting that you can slide up and down. But Kaiser's fine. So let's do your song. Ooh. Cheers, indeed. Good to see you too. Okay, so let's do some Elton John. Let's see here. Sorry. I'm mixing up the song with another one here. Okay, here we go. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. song, and this one's for you. I skipped a verse, I'm sorry. That's alright. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I sat on the roof and kicked off the moss. Well, a few of the verses, well, they've got me quite cross. I've been playing this instrumentally at my gig. Keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do, you see, I forgot if the green or the blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean is yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. Put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. Whoa, yeah. All right. Thanks, Skipper. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you all for being here. So, I'm going to play a little jazz. Thanks, everybody. Can you name that tune and composer? Good, Drew. That's right. Drew's right. That's right, Drew. One of the greatest composers in America is Duke Ellington. One of the greatest improvisers is Louis Armstrong. As far as early jazz, I'm sure many people would say there's many other great improvisers and composers, but as far as the founding of jazz, which is really America's identity, although it turned into more rock, right? But really America's musical and artistic identity became to be jazz. What a nice song. Yeah. Eric says, bye, I've got to go. I appreciate you guys. Hey, good to see you, Eric. We appreciate you too. Nice. Thanks for stopping by. So jazz is worth looking at because it led to rock and roll and R&B. The blues, well, jazz didn't necessarily lead to rock, but blues did, which led to jazz and rock. So that's a more accurate way of putting it. So let's see. Let's do. Just gonna play a little more. If that's okay. And I'm kind of warming up for my gig tonight. I hope that's okay. So at my gig tonight at a restaurant, I play for 3 hours, instrumental, no singing, solo guitar, background music. So let's do hopefully I'm not this indecisive at the gig. Just do some James Taylor. Well, no, let's do some. This is why I don't like the Kaiser as much, because it puts the guitar slightly out of tune. How about Wonderwall? Let me do an instrumental. I don't know the words. Good question, George. I'll answer that in a sec. Let's do a little loop here. Hello. Gudu plays guitar. Cool. Let's do a little bit more. Thanks, Skipper. Appreciate it. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. And I love it when people say hi. Hey, John. Thanks, John. John is a good friend of mine. So yeah, let's do a little more jazz. How about a little Stella by Starlight. Okay. Impressive. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Let's turn this puppy up. by Starlight. Oh, sorry, George. I forgot to answer your question. I'm going to get to that. That's called a tag. You can keep it going forever. I'm sure you all would love that. All right, George, sorry about that. George went invisible. Okay, George, good question. Do I prefer instrumental or solo or singing gigs? Well, here's the thing. This restaurant gig I have is like a dream gig for me. It's 3 hours instrumental, solo, but it's not just because it's instrumental. I would like it just as much if it were singing. It's because I love playing solo. I love playing local. I love playing at restaurants as background music. Background music gets a bad rap as, no one cares about the music. That's fine for me because people are having a nice night out and eating a meal and being with their friends and family. And I love when people are focused on my music, but sometimes it's nice to not have that happen and for people just to enjoy their friends and family. So that's a tough question. I would say I prefer singing in general, but I really like challenges, and it's very challenging for me to play 3 or 4 hours without singing because it really demands more from my hands, to be exact. And my fingers, I've been doing a lot of these gigs, and my fingers are looking like they looked in high school when I used to play 4 to 6 hours a day on acoustic. Not pretty, okay? Green, brown, ripped, right? So anyway, point is, I prefer to sing. I am a singer, songwriter, but I play in a few bands where I'm actually just the guitarist and I sing some background harmonies, and I love that too. So short answer, I prefer singing, but I'm totally happy playing instrumental. Thank you so much, Skipper. Thanks, John. Thanks, George. Is it an uppity? No, no. Fort Collins is not super. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I know. I guess I know what your question means. No, it's not. It's not. It's not like Santa Monica, $500 a plate kind of place. It's a nice. It's called Ace Cafe. So no, people are very nice there, and I get good tips there, and I get a good response. People come up and say thanks. Yeah, it's not super fancy, George. That's a good question. It's not super fancy. Nothing in Fort Collins is like massively fancy. Fort Collins is kind of more of a down home place. Boulder, if I were in Boulder, there would be some fancy restaurants for sure. And maybe in Northern California, where I'm from, in like Marin County, there might be some fancy restaurants. But no, Fort Collins is not super fancy. So, excuse me. Let's see here. This has been good for me to warm up. Hopefully it's been fun for you. And, yeah. Do I get nervous? No, I'm actually a little nervous now because sometimes it's hard when I don't see anybody and I'm just thinking, gosh, what are they thinking? But no, I would say I don't get super nervous at gigs. I am maybe a little nervous for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and that usually burns away. But yeah, good question, John. I get nervous when I'm the lead singer of my band. That's when I get nervous. But that's kind of why I like playing background music, and I also like being a sideman or a hired gun, so to speak, meaning I like being the lead guitarist in bands because it's like, hey, I don't have to sing. Remembering a bunch of lyrics is what makes me nervous, to be honest. As you can probably tell from today's stream, I've forgotten some lyrics, and it's kind of embarrassing. So yeah, I tend to not get super nervous unless I'm singing, and then I get nervous, and unless it's my song. Speaking of my songs, I'm going to end the stream with a singing song, and we'll call it a day. It would have been cool if I could have found my better capo. Oh, there it is. I don't want to go out of tune. Page, that's the other capo company. So I like Shub and I like Page because they both don't take you as out of tune as the Kaisers do. I'm thinking you are generous. Thanks, Drew. Yeah. If that was meant for me, I appreciate it. You guys are generous. John, what do you do when you get nervous and your fingers freeze up? Just pray. That's a great question. Just pray. Pray that you can get through it because eventually the nerves burn up. Ringo says the same thing. After 5 minutes, he's okay. Yeah, the Beatles got very nervous. John Lennon apparently threw up before many shows out of nervousness. But that burns off. Normal licks that you usually do are harder. Right. That's true. Yeah, you're making some good points. You're getting me nervous now because I got a show tonight. John is a performing musician in Northern California. He's part of a band called the Soul Shake. And they have some really great stuff. I play with them once in a while. So why don't we do Grateful I'm Alive, which is a song of mine, and we'll call it a day. And remember to check out the Patreon if you haven't already and see if it'll work for you. Mostly songs, but I also have some music theory up there, some exercises, some chord melody. I'm gonna get some other things up there soon as well. I'll leave you in suspense, but I'm working on some other stuff to cook up onto the Patreon. So check that out. And once again, good to see you all. Really appreciate your kind words as always. It's amazing how I have such kind supporters. Okay. Let's see. Let's get this tuned up. I'm sorry. This is just... There we go. I can do just to not feel blue. In a flash I can see there's a tapestry and it lives underneath. Grateful I'm alive for one more day and it's still brand new. In a flash I can see something happening like the grace of knowing why. Grateful I'm alive. When the rain came, it poured on my head like a gutter drain, and it pushed me down to the muddy ground with the water all around. And the sun out, and I hung in the clouds and I couldn't get down. So I changed my name, played my music loud, and then the sky revealed why. Grateful I'm alive. I'm not known for staying clear from harm, I guess. And I'm amazed that I'm alright. So I won't take for granted being here with you, through war and peace and in between. Grateful I'm alive. It's all I can do just to not feel blue. In a flash I can see there's a tapestry and it lives underneath. Grateful I'm alive for one more day and it's still with you. In a flash I can see something happening like the grace of knowing why. Grateful I'm alive. What the day brought, I was torn from my roots, so I was feeling lost. And it threw me down to the muddy ground like a seed growing out. And I suddenly sprout. I was new to the town, spitting dirt from my mouth. When I cleaned up, I was looking for luck, and then the ground revealed why. Grateful I'm alive. I'm not known for staying clear from harm, I guess. And I'm amazed that I'm alright. So I won't take for granted being here with you, through war and peace and in between. Grateful I'm alive. It's all I can do just to not feel blue. In a flash I can see there's a tapestry and it lives underneath. Grateful I'm alive for one more day and it's still brand new. In a flash I can see something happening like the grace of knowing why. I'm grateful I'm alive. That's what I get for leaving this guitar out in Colorado all night. Now it needs a truss rod adjustment because of the tuning. But anyway, good to see you all. Thanks again for tuning in. Yeah, great point, George. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Great stuff. Thanks, Drew. Well, guys, have a wonderful weekend, and remember to practice guitar and have fun, right? Have that balance of practicing, playing, do something that you enjoy, do something that you want to get better at. I think that's what I've been doing most of my life, and it seems to work out. So hopefully you have a wonderful weekend. Good to see you all, and thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it. Bye, everybody.